Yo, 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 welcome back to the fifth round. As always, myself, Stephen Moustaris, and this is brought to you by the Intigued Content Network. And man, we're less than 24 hours away until UFC 265 tomorrow night. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. I just broke down all the fights before this main event. It's free on ESPN2. One of the more prestigious titles that you can win is the heavyweight title in the UFC. Sadly, we all know this is interim. Sadly, this is an amazing fight. I really think if this was just a headliner for the heavyweight, division, I think this would be huge. But they had to throw a belt over it. Dana and his timelines and whatnot. So it's just there's just a sucks but because I want Derrick Lewis to have his moment so bad. And Ciryl Gane's been coming up and he deserves all of this as well. But at the same time, if it doesn't involve Francis Ngannou right now, these guys don't deserve to even be winning this belt. I think we all agree with that. I'm not breaking news here, but it's just so tough to sit here and break this fight down and be realistic with it. Like, it almost sucks. Even if it would have had Stipe involved, even like Derrick Lewis, Stipe, I think I would have took that as well. You know what I'm saying? Or a John Jones, Derrick Lewis, or something along those lines could have been a little better. No hate at all to Ciryl Gane. As I'm going to probably say right here, Ciryl Gane's got a really good chance of winning this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's tough because I think all of us, like a diehard UFC fan or MMA fan in that general, you are a huge Derrick Lewis fan. And I just think this is his time. And I thought it was his time when he fought DC. I thought, I don't like when the UFC has these big plans for their champions. And then they rush it and they throw because at the time we wanted to see Stipe versus DC2, which we learned to be out to be one of the best rematches that you could possibly see, and thank God we saw it because then Stipe went on to win two in a row. So, but I really thought it was like one of those ones where DC was overlooking him and whatnot. I think I even have it on here where I think it was my first pod ever where I picked Derrick Lewis over DC, which was stupid, but. I mean, at the time, Derrick Lewis is just on a tear, and I mean, he hasn't lost since, so it's super fucking exciting to see this. And everybody wants to see his post-fight interview, and is probably more than we want to see his knockout, if that's even possible, which he's tied for the most knockouts in UFC history, and especially in heavyweight division. And I just want him to have his time so fucking bad. I know for a fact if he fights Francis Ngannou, it's going to be the magic that we thought was going to happen. Because the first time we all know is the most boring fight in UFC history, most likely. It's up there with the Kimbo Slice versus Houston Alexander, but at least in that fight, at least Kimbo had a huge freaking slam. And then there's a bunch of other fights that I think were Doom and Mark Hunt got really fucking tired in their fights. I want to say it was pretty ugly. And there's a bunch that I could list off, but I don't know. It's tough because now I'm sitting here if Derrick Lewis was going to lose, I'd want to see him, get knocked out by Francis, or lose to Stipe. I don't want to see him get outpointed, and I think this really could be what happens this weekend. I think Ciryl Gane turns it on. I think he plays that smart fight, stays outside, pick and pop, kind of a lot like what Volkov did, even though Volkov was a lot longer. And if Volkov doesn't throw those leg kicks at the end of the fight, he doesn't get knocked out, and we don't see Derrick Lewis balls are hot. So I don't know. I could see it a lot like that, but I also just counted out my man Derrick Lewis against Curtis Blades that second time. I thought I was pretty much breaking it down the exact same, but I thought Blades would just use the pressure a lot more, and Derrick Lewis maybe the most well-timed uppercut of all time. So it's tough because I'm torn. Don't get me wrong, Ciryl Gane's really good and stuff, but he's a really boring fighter in my opinion. I didn't know heavyweights could be boring, but he's pretty damn boring in my opinion. He's a point fighter. I could see him just being smart. Jab, 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 leg kick, jab, 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 body shot, jab, jab, jab. Just beat him up for the whole time. Maybe takedown. I don't know, but I don't want to fucking see it. I want to see a Derrick Lewis knockout. I want to see Derrick Lewis, Francis Ngannou too. I think we all want to see it. It's just tough because if Derrick Lewis loses this fight, chances are we're not going to see the Francis Ngannou Derrick Lewis fight again. Or damn. And then it'd just be a shame because Derrick Lewis gets all the way here, and I don't know. I hate to sound like it, but I am really hopeful. I think Derrick Lewis has probably the only ability to knock out Francis Ngannou out of people in the heavyweight division right now. Don't get me wrong, some fluke shit could happen, but I'm saying just the overall power. I think Derrick Lewis has what it takes to knock out good old Francis, and I think that's what I want to see deep down. So I'm rooting for Derrick Lewis. I'm going for Houston to get the dub. I'm hoping for Popeyes to go crazy, give us some free Sammys or something. So, yeah, I want Derrick Lewis to win. I think if he does win, it's going to be first, second round. Not breaking news there either. But I don't know. Just of course, be careful because it could be an easy 5-round just sweep of Ciryl Gane, just a cakewalk to the championship. So, and then we get to see him fight Francis, which has some meat on that bone just because they were former training partners. But at the same time, I don't want to see anybody fight Francis unless it's John Jones, Stipe, or good old Derrick Lewis. So, or even like a Tyson Fury Joshua fight. I would love that. But anyway, this has been the 5th round. Myself, Stephen Moustaris, as always. Intigued Content Network bringing you this stuff. So, hey, guys, thank you so much, and let's go.